Welcome to the Daily Voiceover Huddle. What's going on? Better systems build bigger voiceover businesses. Yeah, how's that for alliteration? Better systems build bigger voiceover businesses. My name is Bill DeWeese, and every weekday we get together at this time to talk voiceover, share tip, trick, strategy, something to help you along the voiceover journey. And if you haven't yet, I invite you to join my growing voiceover community. So excited about it. It's just a lot of great people. Some are brand new, just kind of exploring this. Others have been doing this for decades. But together, it's a very positive, uplifting, supportive group. And I'm going to did I not put that up there? Let's try that again. There we go. Yeah, there we go. So that's the URL. I invite you to join. Again, doesn't cost anything at all to join. We'd love to see you there. Well, I've been, as I usually say at the top of the program, I've been doing this for a while, for 20 years, but this is not all I've done. Thankfully, I woke up this morning. The story is, I woke up this morning at 4:30. I couldn't go back to sleep. I was thinking about this morning's live stream and what I was going to be talking about, and then just midstream in thought. And I wish I didn't have such a strong inner voice, because it's always talking, always scheming, always up to something new. And so it planted a new idea, a new thought in my head today. And the reason that it did that is because I was just reflecting on my career path and choices over the years. Voiceover I've been doing for 20 years, which is for a long time, but I've been around for a long time. So there were a lot of things that I did prior to working in voiceover. I have an MBA. I was a college professor. I taught communication and business. I had a long broadcast career. I worked for a corporate learning services company where we would go in to Fortune 500 companies like Kellogg and Caterpillar and Colgate. Clients didn't have to begin with a C or K to be a client, but in this case, I guess those are the three I mentioned. We would go in and build high-performance learning environments for their employees. I also worked for, I worked for a business consulting firm here in the Chicago area. And I learned so much, and it really prepared me for what I'm doing today. And I was thinking specifically as my work for the consulting firm, and my job was to go around and talk to business owners and CEOs of businesses. I would call it small to medium or medium big-ish businesses that were generating anywhere from maybe 1 million to upwards of 50 million, sometimes more, in annual revenue. And my job would be to help them identify, the pain points and the friction points in their business. And so I would talk about things about hiring employees and employee retention, employee turnover, cash flow management, receivables, if they're in an industry that required handling inventory, and we'd tailor the conversation based on whatever the business was that I was talking to help them to look and to see the systems in their business and to begin to look at those systems and see where the breakdown was at. What was keeping them from getting to where they want to go? I love small businesses. And again, some of these were a little larger they weren't mom and pops, but compared to some Fortune 500 companies, they were relatively small. But these kind of businesses, these small or smallish businesses, are the backbone of the American economy. They employ the most people. They contribute. They're so very important. And I took my job seriously to help most businesses don't succeed. And here's the reason most of these businesses don't succeed. It's not because the owner is not smart or not knowledgeable or not talented. It's because they've only grown to their ability to do what they've done at that point in time. Where you're at in your voiceover business is a result of where you are at right now. You cannot grow and go to where you are not ready to go. And let me tease this out a little bit more for you. And again, excuse my voice, still struggling. Most small business owners get into what they do, including voiceover talent, because they're good operators. They understand the product or service they get into. It might be a plumber who is a good plumber who decided to become a larger contractor, take on employees and grow. It could be a manufacturing facility. It could be a restaurant wanting to turn into a restaurant chain. Again, it could be anything. And remember, we're talking about principles. So these always apply, and they apply to all businesses at all times, anywhere, at any point in history. Principles always are relevant, and they always apply. And the biggest hindrance for the business growth for these companies was the owners themselves, because the thing that made it possible for them to be where they were at was based really on the strength of the ego and the belief of the founder of that company. Belief can get you pretty far down the road. And these are people who had a very strong will, who had a very strong idea of what they wanted to do, and they did it, and it got them to where they were at. But what they didn't understand was where they were at was not enough to get them to where they wanted to go. It required something more, and it required systems. It requires them to have the systems and to execute them properly to grow. And ego can get in the way, because when you're a good operator and you think you've got it figured out, again, that can take you a long way. But if you're not open to objectivity and to understand these principles that are at play, then you just can't grow past where you're at. So again, to kind of circle back, bring this back around to voiceover, you're here because you have a passion to do what we do. You've got ability to do. Some of you guys are world class at what you do. I'm envious of the talent level of many of you who are involved in voiceover. But if you've done this for any length of time, you understand that that is not enough. You've got to have a good product. Excuse me. But if that was all that was required, then the most talented people would have the biggest voiceover businesses. Or the same in any business, the most gifted or talented operator would have the biggest business. And that's just not the way it works. It's not the way it operates. It's the person who has a good product, a good solid product, doesn't have to be the best product, but it has to be a good product, but they have the right systems in place. And if they understand those systems and can operate those systems effectively, then they can scale up far beyond where they're at. Where you're at in voiceover is just a reflection of what you know and understand at this point. It doesn't mean you're not capable. It doesn't mean you can't get it. It doesn't mean you can't grow. It just means you can't grow any further without understanding the principles that are in play here, that are operating, and the systems required to get there. And I've got good news for you. You don't have to figure out those systems, because I've done that for you already in something called VO Flow. So I just want to encourage you to begin thinking about, what's brought you to where you're at today. And maybe you're pretty far down the road. Maybe you can't get past go. And maybe you're just super frustrated, but it's a reflection of what you know and what you understand right now, which is not indicative of where you're going to be next week or the month after if you get your systems in place and you begin to do the things that you need to do, because those are the things that will allow you to scale and to grow and to do it not just incrementally, but once you really get this going, it can happen exponentially. But you have to have the systems in place. If you want to learn more about that, again, get into the group. Let me put that up again, I'm so sorry. I'll put up on the screen for you, school.com/VOFlow. Or if you want to learn more, go and just look at the platform itself, VOFlow.io. We'd love to have you check it out. Thanks for being on the stream this morning. If you haven't checked in on the live chat, make sure that you do that. And again, my apologies. I am really struggling with my voice. Praying for good weather. My goodness. So desperately. We need more warm weather here in the if any meteorologists who have influence, listen up. We need some better weather here in the Chicago area. Please bring it as soon as you can. I would greatly appreciate it. Rusty, good to see you on this morning. Hey, John, what's happening in Denver? Sheila in Washington, D.C. Hey, Dennis. We got Dave in Knoxville. We've got Rusty up there in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. Rob Ryder, good to see you, my friend, in Atlanta. And we've got, let's see here, Quiche Pro. It is snowing again, but loves the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. So you got to do what you love. Good to have, you know what I was going to say? Good to have our Instagram friends on, but I didn't press the button to go live there. We'll just keep that between me and you. Appreciate you guys being here. I always do. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you subscribe. If the video is helpful, give it a thumbs up, share it. It would mean the world to me. It helps the channel to grow and get the word out to more people. And in the meantime, make sure you visit and join our free community at school.com/VOFlow. Have a wonderful day, guys. We'll talk to you tomorrow morning.